For more on the story, we're joined by the University of Pretoria senior researcher, Dr. Jason Mosioka. Dr. Musyoka, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. So some stability then being restored, especially in as far as the future of that election result that was being contested in the court. Do you think that the court decision today settles the matter once and for all?
So thank you so much, Katie, for having me. And the elections in Kenya perhaps always need to be seen in context, because from the advent of multi-party democracy in the 1990s, we've had recurrence of the Electoral Commission delivering judgment or giving out final ruling, which is always contested, apart from 2002. That was the only exception. But 2007, 2013, 2017, and 2022, it's always been contested every time the Electoral Commission has handed out its final conclusion on who the president would be. So that being said, I think there is a sense that the institution itself needs to be rebuilt. That is now the IEBC, the Electoral Commission body. And I think one unique characteristic of what we saw in the 2022 elections was advancement of technology, the kind of technology that the Commission employed during the current or the just ended elections. It's never been employed in the history of the country. And so there were several challenges that were related directly to technology and how the technology was operationalized. And I think perhaps the validation of the Electoral Commission's conclusion by the Supreme Court, it does give credibility to a given extent to the Commission. But also I have to say, Katie, that the Supreme Court did indicate that they will give some form of reforms or they will recommend reforms in their long judgment. The one that they gave today was a breached one, a short version, so that they can allow the political stability to proceed forth. But by and large, I think there is credibility emerging from the Commission.
Jason, I think the point that you are making about the fact that this wasn't the first contested election result in Kenya is an important one. And in previous cycles, we've seen that contestation marred in incredible bloodshed. When you look at how things have unfolded this time around, yes, there have been skirmishes reported here and there, but do you think there is a maturing somewhat of the process, even in the midst of contestation?
I think absolutely yes. If you consider, so firstly, 2002, which there was no contestation, the unique characteristic of that election was that the winner had a very large margin compared to the second who came after him. But after that, 2007, which really is the darkest spot in the country's history, of 1,000 people died, and it was just chaotic for the economy and everybody else. And I think that was when a South African judge, Kriegler, he set up, there was a Kriegler commission that was set up to try and guide the way forward to avoid any repeat of 2007. And so the Kriegler Commission then recommended a new constitution which was implemented or enacted in 2010. And from 2010, the new constitution has been guiding the elections up to date. But to answer your question directly, what we've seen in 2013 and 2017, there were, of course, questioning on whether there was credibility. But again, that was because there was a very close margin. But what we've seen in 2022 is particularly the use of technology. There were a lot of cases. I think the Commission indicated that over 11 times the portal where the live data was being uploaded was trying to be hacked for 11 times. So there were efforts to try and delegitimize the technology itself, but that did not succeed. I think what we've seen now really is, perhaps one would argue, that it is a level of maturity that we've seen, although there were, of course, some few issues here and there, some contestations that we've seen, including going to the Supreme Court. But by and large, the technology and the Supreme Court judgment and upholding the Commission's ruling, I think this gives a good sense of confidence on the whole process.
Jason, let me wrap it up with you by asking this question. Do you think that beyond this election, we're actually going to see Kenya move beyond the musical chairs, and as far as the political elite that have been contesting the senior positions in that country are concerned? Because many of these faces are not new to Kenyan politics, and there's a big question about what is the offering beyond this current cohort, both all those that contested and even the losers that can be offered to the country. And it's a question about leadership.
Indeed. So it's very interesting, the current elections, partly because to an important extent, the now president-elect is an outsider. There was, of course, the fact that he does have 15 years in government, but he was an outsider in the sense that since the 1960s, the country has been governed mainly by few families. But the current president-elect now, he is not really a big name. Neither were his parents key politicians. In fact, far from that. So we have seen him ascend to power, and I think there was also the fact that he laid out very clear focus on issues. And I think if we have to measure maturity and progress based on discussing on issues rather than the historical focus on ethnicity and so on, then we have seen a change. And the fact that he is an outsider who has really been able to take down some of these major or big names in politics, I think that, again, lends credibility to the future of the country. It inspires more of the young people and hopefully changes the politics in the future.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. University of Pretoria Senior Researcher Dr. Jason Mosioka.